You make the adjustments you want, brother. All right, guys, we are live. And yeah, just get relaxed. Guys, I wanted to say hello. This is for the Old Breed podcast. I'm here with Professor Johnathan Robinson. Johnathan, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Good to be here.
Thank you so much for being here, man. I was, we were talking about before we were starting the show what we were talking about, and I could already tell that that Johnathan was going to be a great guest because he's very fluid in his thinking. And yeah, man, no, you're awesome. Like you already have, like I could already tell you just have the personality that was made for it. And the reason why I wanted to have you on the show is because, of course, I wanted to promote our beautiful sport, which is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And I wanted to basically talk about Johnathan Robinson. Where did you start?
Yeah, so it was actually pretty funny. I was working at a place in the mall, and my manager at the time was like, "Hey, man, there's this gym down the street. You can go and you can hit these bags, and it's like they're boxing and kicking and stuff. I was like, cool, let's do it. This cardio kickboxing class." So I was like, all right, I'll go and try it. So I went and tried it, and see these guys over the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh man, they're like rolling and doing some stuff similar to wrestling I did in high school. I missed that. And I thought it was a no-gi class. So I went next day and was like, hey man, I want to do some of that. And that's where it started, all from a cardio kickboxing class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you were already a wrestler, right?
Yeah, so I when I moved to Georgia, my mom moved to Georgia, we came with her, my sister and myself. And the guy my mom was dating at the time, he was from New Jersey, had wrestled in high school. I don't have to wrestle in college or anything. And he said, you should wrestle. So in between middle school and high school, I went and did a camp out in Roswell High School. And that's where it started. I wrestled all through high school, and that was it.
So you already had that structure, though. You already had because wrestlers are tough guys, man. You guys are hard workers. Yeah,
I mean, it was countless hours in there. Sprawls are I hate them now, but back then it was like, sprawls are kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, I like to teach a lot of stuff now that has a little bit of a twist to wrestling. And I always warn the wrestlers that come in, they're like, oh, I've grappled before. It's like, hey, that's great, but you got to watch that head placement because in jiu-jitsu, it's some things cross over, some things don't. So
yeah, so but what I'm trying to get at though is so you weren't your typical white belt because you already knew wrestling.
Right,
I mean, wrestlers are dangerous just being wrestlers, So it's not like you had already gotten that humble pie, right? I mean, as far as like the hard work and all that stuff was already there.
So I mean, it was a little abnormal for me because coming into the gym, it was I had grappling experience, so I wasn't so much worried about not being able to keep up with somebody. I had the energy, I had the grappling experience. So I was like, let's do it. But it was that first tournament that really kind of humbled me because I went and did a gi and no-gi tournament. And actually, it's kind of funny. Mike Brodeur was, I met him down the line, but he was one of the first guys I competed against. Great guy. But I went out there and, they did gi before no-gi, and I got choked unconscious in my second gi match.
Wow.
And so, and I won no-gi, and like, man, I really need to focus on this other stuff in the gi. And that's from there, it was kind of, no-gi's in the back of my mind. I'm going to switch over to gi. And ever since then, it's pretty much just being in the gi.
Well, so you prefer gi to no-gi or what?
No, yeah, just because, it's, we're getting older, man. You can slow things down a little bit with the gi. So
for sure.
I like to jump in no-gi every now and again, just because it's a great workout. It's great sweat. It's a much faster pace.
Yeah, I'm too old for no-gi, but I definitely appreciate the gi, the aspect of it, man. I think it's so beautiful.
It's just, and it's the great thing about gi, and in my opinion, is just it's unlimited options. You can love any position. I tell the new people coming in, I'm like, hey, you're going to love top or you're going to hate top. Same thing with bottom. You love bottom, you hate bottom. And, starting out, that's kind of, my truth is I think that somebody's going to like one way or the other, those two positions. And you're going to like one more than the other. So, hey, focus on top if you love top, focus on bottom if you love bottom.
Now, what do you prefer, though? Do you prefer, like, starting from the top or the bottom?
Depends how heavy the guy is that I'm going with.
Really?
No, I mean, I like to play around. I mean, I I love to be on top. I love to pass. And somebody would roll the wrong way. I take the back. That was my go-to thing. And then, up into purple belt, and then probably that's when I kind of opened up my eyes. I was like, man, I really suck from bottom.
Yeah.
And a great guy that I was training with, Omar Lopez. He's now with Altos under Bruno, and we started doing some bottom stuff, and he's helped my game. It's funny because people are like, oh, it's just training with a smaller guy. Even though I was big, I'm close to 200 pounds at the time we started doing that, and he was probably in the mid 150s maybe.
Yeah.
He's a much smaller guy, but trying to do the small guy stuff, even when you're big, it still pans out, still works out. So
that's very, hey man, that's I'm glad you put it that way, because so it's like if it's working for the small guy, why it can work for the big guys too. You may have to make more of an adjustment because you're a big guy, man. You're like wide.
Yeah, no, I mean it's funny. The Kings makes the gis. I love their Kings gis, and they talk about the H's, the A2 heavies as they call it. We joke around about A2 hefties.
Yeah,
but I mean it's. I love doing the small guy stuff, even though sometimes it doesn't look as pretty because obviously I'm wide like a tank or something. But hey, it's fun to do berimbolo and stuff like that. I'll try them, but it's just not gonna look as pretty as Elijah's.
Yeah, I watch Elijah all the time. I'm doing just a worm guard right now, and I just do it. I mess around with white belts just for whatever, man. But I'm still doing the old man jiu-jitsu. So no, man, I see you guys train. You guys train like friggin' animals, man.
We try to. Sometimes it gets a lot out of hand, but
yeah. So tell me, how has jiu-jitsu changed your life?
I mean, really, it's just been, everybody talks about having something outside of work and home that they can kind of just go to and relate to and have fun with, whether it be jiu-jitsu or CrossFit or kickboxing or, buddies you go drink with, whatever it may be. And for me, jiu-jitsu is just kind of that thing. I fell into it. I found it. It was a hobby to get outside of work. And, at the time, just being at home playing video games, sitting on my butt. So it was just a sport. I love sports in general. I've done just about everything except for soccer, in some fashion. And it's a sport that was as close to wrestling as you could get. Continue on past your early stages of life and into, now it looks like everybody's doing jiu-jitsu up into their new late stages. So that's probably the thing that attracts me the most.
I think that as men, I think we need something like that because, man, you just burn so much energy doing it, man. You feel so much better. Like that's what I was telling Brent is like, I like going to train. Actually, I don't like going to train. I hate going training. But when I'm done, I'm like, God, I feel so much better.
Yeah. And then the next morning you're like, oh man, that was so rough on my body.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's great to train. It's great to just meet new people. I mean, I have so much to thank jiu-jitsu for, just the last 10 years have been amazing. I've met wonderful people. I mean, there are some people that you're kind of like, oh, that guy's a jerk. But at the end of the day, they're still training. You're still like, yeah, he's a jerk, but he has a great role.
Listen, there's assholes everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't fix that.
But no, I mean, it's my best man at my wedding came from jiu-jitsu. So, I have a lot of best friends right now. I'm going over to another good friend's house tonight, gonna drink some beers, have a cigar. It's brought me so much. So teaching, and I almost feel like now it's kind of, getting in the way of my home life. My wife's like, oh, you're doing open mat tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing open mat tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's just because, some people need it, or rolling is never not fun. I never go, man, you know what? I hated rolling today.
Yeah.
When you're done, you're just like, that was good.
You feel pretty incredible, man. I've just been rolling. I'm at a new school right now that's just building their program. So I'm rolling with like a lot of white belts, man. And I've been getting tossed around a lot. And Elijah was telling me, dude, you watch out for the white belts, because they're, they don't know what they're doing.
And then that's kind of the hard part is, I tell a lot of the upper belts, I'm like, hey man, don't try new stuff on me or other upper belts. I was like, perfected on some white belts because they're squirmy, they're skittish, they don't have body movements. And if you can do it on them a couple times flawlessly, then work with the ranks. You try it on a blue belt, try it on a purple belt. And then once you perfect it and drill it enough, then you got it down pat. But if you go out there and you're like, oh, I saw this move, I drilled it a couple times, let me go try it on this brown belt or black belt. It's probably not gonna go too well.
Yeah. No, so listen, so tell me about because you recently received your black belt, right?
Yep. I got it in December 2018, so just over a year.
Who are you affiliated with?
I'm under Travin. Professor Travin down in Midtown. If somebody were to look at my lineage, I don't know what you'd possibly see. I mean, whether I'm directly under Travin or under Travin, and a professor for the most of the time, Ethan Garrison, who was my best man, like I was saying earlier. It's one half dozen of the other to me, but that's who I've trained with. That's who I've been under ever since I started. And
so that's your lineage.
Yeah, that's more or less my lineage, and I think it's a little rare these days to have a team that you stay with for that long. Gyms are just like every other business. They'll start and they'll go under, and professors will leave. Life happens.
Yes.
So just like me, I might teach, but I've got a full-time job. So who's to say that my full-time job doesn't take me somewhere else? And it happens, but it's very rare these days, I think, with how much people are cross-training and stuff like that somebody will stay with one school for the life of their belt, if you will.
Exactly. No, look, that has something to do with it. It's you can't really keep those traditions because at one point in time, people didn't move around. They stayed in one spot. But in today's society, I mean, if you have to move across the states for a job, you're going to continue doing jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, obviously it's practical. You're going to find another school, And we talked about this before about like the politics of, jiu-jitsu, just like everything else. It's like, listen, at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You have to either move on or, I mean, that's just part of life, don't you think?
Yeah. And it's, I think everybody starts out, I'll say people used to start out with, this is my gym. I'm buying all of their gear. I'm starting with them from ground up. And everybody else are losers.
Exactly.
Suck. We're going to beat them, hate them, blah, blah, blah. But as you kind of get up there, you mature in jiu-jitsu, you've been doing it for years. You're kind of like, it's jiu-jitsu. This is I would probably say, if not more, 80% of the people out there doing jiu-jitsu, this is a fun sport, hobby, escape, whatever. You might have 15, 20% of people saying, this is my life, this is my career. Professor Travin, the guys that own the gyms, they might do jiu-jitsu because that's their living. And they, that's all they know. That's what they did. That's profession. The big names, Buchecha, those guys, Galvo, that's what they're doing for a living. So, but I mean, for a lot of the people, it's, this is a really nice, just family hobby and escape. And, that's why some people do the competition class and compete, and that's what they want to do because they want to grind it out and they want to go win at stuff, and it's a sport. And they love that competition, they fuel off of it. And other people are like, you know what, I like the art. And then of course you got the, I've never been to a Gracie school, so I can't really speak to them. But from what I've heard and know, they teach a lot of the combative type stuff, the self-defense type stuff, things like that, and that's fine too, and people go for that. So there's tons of reasons why people do jiu-jitsu, and I can't speak to all of them because everybody's got their own reason for doing jiu-jitsu. Mine's just happened to be like wrestling.
But do you have aspirations of being a world champion, or?
When I started, I probably did. When I started jiu-jitsu, I competed as much as I could. We went out to Pan Am's. We competed at the local Atlanta tournaments. Back then, we had a local tournament called Ludador.
How old are you, man?
So I'm 33. I'll be 34 this year.
You're right there. You're right there.
When I started, it was, it was, hey, I'm in my early 20s. Let's do what you can.
Yeah, let's get after it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun. And at that time it was, I'm going to win Pan Ams and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then as you get older, you're kind of like, hey, if I want to do those things, I've got to put in the time on the mats. And that's the hard part is, finding a way to do that.
Listen, man, I tell that to Elijah all the time because, Elijah has that, like, that's what I told him. I said, just focus on jiu-jitsu. Like, as far as that's it. Because me personally, I'm a selfish bastard and I want him to be a world champion. You know what I'm saying? So I almost think that it's like an investment towards my son, So that's what Elijah does. It's just jiu-jitsu said, listen, I totally get it. But yeah, you're 33. You're kind of like a professional athlete. Once a professional athlete hits that 33 mark, it's downhill, man. It's the reality. I'm 47. I saw it when I was your age.
But I mean, they're still. I mean, obviously they're top-notch competitors.
No doubt.
Roger Gracie when he had the match with Buchecha and that 20-minute match, whatever it was, was just looking at him like, man, that guy's just, he's competing with somebody who's, I think he's 2 years younger than him or not. I'm not sure. I'm horrible with names. I'm horrible with
I am too.
Figures and stuff. I am too. So I'm just like, oh yeah, that guy. He's represents this brand.
No, but it's reality, right?
Yeah.
It's just reality. Like I said, I'm not saying you're over the hill. I'm just saying you're right there. You're right there, man. Now, if you're obviously if you continue training, I mean, you may well go into, let's say, 36, 37, but we're freaking human beings, Jonathan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I said, I played semi-professional soccer, and I could totally tell my, I could run through walls when I was in my 20s, but once I hit that 32, 33, it was like I hit a wall. You know what I'm saying?
And everybody's going to have that. They're going to have that peak and then that drop off, and it's you're finding a routine that works for you and staying in that routine. I mean, I remember, back when we used to go to Travin's classes and, on Sundays, and I was like, oh, let me go for a run in the morning to get kind of lubed up for this training. And it was great. And now I'm like, man, I need to get 10 hours of sleep. I need to have breakfast 4 hours in advance. I need to take like a bath. And that's my preparation now for Travin's classes is, just make sure I have enough time to wake up and go to it. But that's just the way it is. People have their routines. And you go from there.
But I've seen you're still competing though, right? Or not as much?
I'm competing as much as I can, as much as my body will let me.
Yeah.
There's times when work will get in the way because, things happen in the work world.
Yeah, of course.
So you maybe can't train as much, but I still love competing. I still get nervous. Every time I go to compete. I still get nervous every time I go to Travin's classes.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good.
But it's something to feed off of. It's my wife laughs at me and she's, I don't know, but I'll wake up to go to a Sunday class and I'll drive down there and I look at and I'm just drenched in sweat because I'm just so nervous about going to a class that I've been to, a couple hundred times. Like it's just, why does it happen? I don't know, but I love the sensation.
Listen, it's interesting that you say that, man, because it just makes you more of a human, because if somebody were to like size you up, they're like, man, this guy's an animal, but you're a human being just like anybody else, and you have fear, and it's good to have that fear because it keeps you in check, But I mean, do you feel like, let's say you go out with your wife or you go out with your friends, do you ever feel like you need to be violent with anybody or no?
Oh no, I hate. I'll tell people all the time, I've never been in a fight.
Yeah.
Ever. I remember back when I was little, I might have punched a kid in the back because he bit me in a pool or something. That was the one time I physically hit somebody. And, I went to a buddy's bachelor party in Helen and some guy grabbed me and I was getting ready to just kind of jiu-jitsu throw him. And, and then some lady came up, I was like, no, he's drunk, blah, blah, blah. So I just kind of let him go. But I've never been in a fight, and I don't really have aspirations to, I guess.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, what do you think about MMA? MMA is great. Hey, do it. Whatever floats your boat. But I'm fat. I like cookies. Like jiu-jitsu's for me. People that are that are 200 pounds, or 215 weight class, or even 185, they're a good 4 or 5 inches taller than me, and their reach is way farther than mine. So I have no business being in that.
So what kind of people do you need in the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu community? Because, we're doing this podcast, Johnathan, to promote our sport, but there's a lot of people that are intimidated by Jiu Jitsu guys, right? They think that maybe we're all a bunch of muscleheads that want to get into fights. Is that it or no? Are we like that?
I would say some are like that.
But most, I don't think they are. They're very humble, man.
I think you're going to have both.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might argue jiu-jitsu is for everybody. And, I would disagree, because I have yet to get my wife on the mats more than 10 times. She has a brand new gi that we got in Master Worlds for free. And, it's just, I would say it's for most people, but some people just, they don't like sweat. Yeah. Or they don't like being tied down.
Your wife sounds like she's probably very girly and feminine. And she ain't got time.
Surprisingly, she's not. She is kind of a tomboy in nature. We both joke about, wanting kids and everything. But like, man, what are we going to do if we have girls? Like, what do we do? Because she doesn't wear girlish things. And that's what I love about it. She's just, I'm competitive. She's competitive. And that's why I think we work so well, is that we have fun in our competitive ways.
But she doesn't want to do jiu-jitsu.
But she doesn't want to do jiu-jitsu. So I'll joke around with her, and we joke around. We call her White Belt Bailey, and she's a YouTube blue belt, because it was actually pretty funny. I was watching a video, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you can do this off of that." And I looked at her, and I'm like, "How do you know this?" And I guess just because she's watched enough.
Oh, she's been around it for so long.
She knows it, and I'm just like, "How do you know names and moves?" And I can't remember names and moves. And it's just funny, but yeah, I mean, it's for most people. I mean, some people aren't gonna like it for one reason or another, or somebody's gonna spend 6 months doing jiu-jitsu and they're gonna break something. And they're gonna be like, I don't want to do jiu-jitsu anymore because I broke it, and I kind of need this out of the other.
Yeah, maybe you have to be a masochist to love jiu-jitsu, because it's painful, man.
It is.
Pain is good.
It is, but I mean, you can always prevent it. That's the good thing about jiu-jitsu is, there's some guys who, they don't really attack too much. They more defend, and that's the good thing. Is it's, when I started jiu-jitsu, it was all about attack. And now I like rolling with the new students and the guys that are maybe a year or two in, because I can put them in positions that I'm kind of defending and see how they respond and see how they attack. And then I can make adjustments from there and say, hey, do this, do that. You should have saw this, or you should have done this pressure wise. And that's a great thing now. But, when I was a pro belt, I was like, I'm going to smash this white belt. I don't care about this guy.
But that's maturity too, man.
Yeah, and that's what I think it is. That's what I'm saying. People that start jiu-jitsu, it's a humbling sport for sure. Some people get it right out of the gate. Yeah. Like I said, you get these grapplers that come in, and you see the videos all the time. Wrestler takes on black belt jiu-jitsu, he gets pummeled or whatever it is. There's egos in jiu-jitsu. Because nobody, the people who like to compete, they don't like losing. Nobody likes losing. There's actually a post the other day about one of the world champion females. She said something, it's not so much something along the lines of, it's not that she likes winning, it's that she hates losing. Yeah. So, and that's the way it is.
Listen, I look at my son and I'm like, there's just so many levels to jiu-jitsu, because I always tell everybody I never spar with my son because it's embarrassing. And I don't want to, it really is embarrassing. I feel like I'm wasting Elijah's time. It's
you just got to flow roll with him.
I just know that he'll just crush me.
Or just crush drill. You just got to say,
maybe one day I'll man up and be like, all right, let's
do
go.
Some drills that are back and forth sweeps or back and forth rolls. Just,
it's just so powerful.
Some knowledge on it.
It's just so powerful. I know. Listen, I learned from guys from like you. I learned guys from like Brent. Dude, yes. There's levels to jiu-jitsu. Are there many levels to jiu-jitsu?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Like I was saying earlier, the levels are, it's everybody starts out liking something. They like bottom, they like top. And that's like your level. And I tell people all the time, as you're going through these belts, you start bottom or top. And you're building this this weird, just kind of, straight up building because you only like one way. So if you get on bottom, you've got one or two moves where you're like, okay, I can get back on top. That's my sweep to get back on top. Or if you're on top, you're working to get your passes or whatever it may be, but you start very, very skinny. And then, I usually say it's until about purple belt that you realize like, hey, I've been neglecting this other side. So you start expanding this tree. So you've got your branch, this tree going up, and then you start expanding out. And then, really it's kind of once you expand out and realize that other piece you've been missing, then you start building it back up to the point. And that's the thing is, I guess that's why I love it, is because this person can be great at, whatever the newest, latest, greatest, worm guard, whatever it may be. And then this guy's like, hey, I'm kicking it old school. I'm doing scissor sweeps and, arm bars from bottom. I hate arm bars. I hate arm bars from bottom. But I love arm bars from other spots. And it's not to say that I shouldn't be drilling arm bars from bottom. It's great to still drill.
It's a puzzle, man. Jiu-jitsu is just a puzzle, man. I mean, you do it all the time after you train. You go home and your mind is thinking about that move that you missed or what you should have done, right? And that's just your mind. That's what I was telling Humberto, is your mind trying to figure that puzzle out. We're trying to figure it out all the time. And I think that's why it becomes so addictive. I think it's just I think it's incredible, man. The same feeling that I used to get, like, let's say, rucking 15 miles with like 50 or 60 pounds on my back, that same pain is the same pain that I feel when I do jiu-jitsu. That makes me feel alive. To me, that's why I love jiu-jitsu so much, is because I think we need to get checked all the time, right? I always say we did not descend from weak men. America did not descend from weak men. The pioneers that brought, that explored the lands, man, they were some just savages, man.
Yeah, they were rugged guys.
Exactly. And I don't want us to lose
somebody
that.
being like, oh, my toes hurt. Like,
it's I don't want us to lose that, Johnathan.
I agree. And, it's funny because before we moved to Georgia, I was living in Mississippi, and I remember running around and like gravel and stuff with their shoes. And it was, everybody makes fun of, these country people, blah, blah, blah. The country people, some of those are the hardest working guys. And, the toughest people. And I think the country kind of does that. It's that, I can run around with my shoes off and pick up random things and grab snakes barehanded. People that grow up in the city, they're kind of like, I'm not going to do that. I've got to have my new snakes. But, it's all about who they're around and how they're training. So, people, it's not to say people grow up in the city can't be hard and rugged. They can. It's just they got to find that outlet or that way to be hard and rugged, and they're not going to know it unless they're subject to it.
Yes. All right. So listen, man, we're going to pivot onto this because obviously it's affected the jiu-jitsu community. But what about the COVID-19? How has it affected your school?
Man, so it's been a crazy COVID-19 experience. My wife and I, we just moved to Cartersville, closer to the school. To kind of grow a family, get a house that can support a family, and it's. So the gym was closed down, which, unfortunately, but fortunately, because it helped us get the move through.
Oh, really? So it helped you guys out?
It helped me because I didn't have to think about teaching. I had to think about the move. So, trying to think about both, I think my head might have exploded while also trying to work, and it would have been a cluster.
It's tough. It's tough.
But, it's sad to see some of the gyms, going under. And I hope nobody is at the point where they're like, what, now that I've had these couple of weeks off or months, I guess, I don't want to do jiu-jitsu anymore. I want to do this. So I hope nobody has that kind of sensation or feeling. I hope everybody comes back, and I hope they go back to the gyms that, they kind of started with, because, nobody wants to, to have to shut their doors. And I hope nobody does, because, at the end of the day, we're all doing jiu-jitsu because we love jiu-jitsu and we like jiu-jitsu and whatever the reasons may be that you're doing jiu-jitsu. But, as far as it impacting me and stuff, it helped me with the move. then I got the bug, put the mats down in my basement. Had a buddy come up, we trained a couple times, and then the gym opened up. So training, it was new. Training with the space was super, super awkward and weird. And coming from an instructor side, it was, what do I teach these people that they can do by themselves that would better their jiu-jitsu career?
Yeah, so there was a lot of underground jiu-jitsu. I mean, I've talked about the underground jiu-jitsu. I mean, guys were not going to stop, and we're going to do the bro science. It's like they weren't putting anybody at risk because they're healthy individuals, right? So let's kind of educate the people. And like I said, this is all bro science. But if you look at our home state of Georgia, people that are dying of the COVID are 65 years and older, and people that were younger, let's say, because they had a 22-year-old that died, and she had underlying conditions. She was maybe diabetic.
Gotcha.
So I think, obviously, I mean, it's really hurt the jiu-jitsu community. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go out of business because of this. I mean, imagine not having a gym. Imagine you being a gym owner and not having it for 50 days, 50-plus days. And that would decimate people.
It's unfortunate, but I think it's going to hurt those gyms that only have jiu-jitsu more.
Yeah.
Because those gyms that, and it's not to say that a jiu-jitsu school is not better by only having jiu-jitsu or vice versa, but, there's guys who solely have jiu-jitsu and maybe can't do that because they can't abide by the separation and the social distancing and all that. I think they're going to suffer the most because they don't have that extra means of income of, hey, come do cardio kickboxing, come do weightlifting, come do whatever it might be, where you can only do something with space. I can say, hey, here's your dumbbells, here's your dumbbells, here's your dumbbells, and we can set up each individual stuff. But in jiu-jitsu, it's really, really hard and challenging to teach a class with limited space and social distancing. And I think that was a struggle. And thankfully, we're kind of over that hump where people are starting to allow drilling partners and rolling and stuff like that. But really, that first little bit of time was hard.
Yeah, it was
really hard, and especially coming from a grappling background, I think that's kind of one of the things that helped me, but also kind of hurts me is people are like, oh, what can I do in the beginning to help? What can I do at home to help my jiu-jitsu? And I don't know, because I wrestled, so that was my intro into jiu-jitsu. So when people ask me that, I'm just like, there's this book that Bureau Brothers put out. It's got white belt to black belt. Look it over. It's on Amazon. Try that. It's like, really try the stuff we do in warm up. That's the best I can do.
I think it just really should be so clear, man. It should be like just whatever, man. Just show up to class. I mean, it's like, you can be theoretical about anything, but at the end of the day, it's like show up, learn, do your part. And if you want to learn more, I mean, we have phones now, so.
Right. But that's kind of that's a little bittersweet with the technology now, because anybody can go and watch jiu-jitsu film.
Yeah.
I can go on YouTube and say, as a white belt, oh, I heard this guy talking about a berimbolo. Let me go Google berimbolos. Next thing you know, you got this guy that's 3 months in trying berimbolos in somebody. It's not to say it's wrong, but it's maybe they don't have the foundation where they should be even attempting that.
Yeah. No, but listen, at the same time, you go, that's why you go to a school too. You go to a school to be taught by people like yourself, to be like, hey, like slow it down. Like you may want to kind of do something else because you're the expert. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, I do it all the time. If I'm training with Elijah, I'm like, Elijah, what do I need to do this? And I got him into jiu-jitsu, but clearly he's the expert, not me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's you got to learn to. Sometimes you just got to learn to be humble, man.
The great thing about it is, you can still feed off of one another.
Of course.
Because he might. The great thing about you guys not training at the same places, you might see something today that you maybe have never seen, or maybe you've seen, but it's a tweak. And I think Dave said the other day, when you were on the podcast, so I listened to it, and he was like, Coffee said that, it's my way. It's not to say it's the way. Yeah. And I was like, that's actually a good point, because, I say that often and I'm like, oh, do this. Oh, now you're doing it wrong. And it's not to say that it's, wrong. If somebody might have shown him a little different way, and I just say, hey, this is my way.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing is, you take any particular move, and there's probably 20 different ways you can do it from 20 different people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some things that are wrong, but what's a pistol grip versus a regular sleeve grip? There's differences, but one guy might prefer it, the other guy may not. It's just the way it is.
You're a gun guy too?
I do like guns.
Okay. All right, so
that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's something else. So yeah, man, I just wanted to get your perspective because you are a gym owner, so like what's going on.
No, I'm not a gym owner.
Not yet?
No. I'm just the head instructor up at Cartersville. It's not to say I wouldn't eventually love to be a gym owner. And if the opportunity presents itself, then yeah, for sure. Whether it's full ownership, part ownership, whatever it may be. Yeah, but right now it's just the path, and I'm just walking on it.
Okay. No, because listen, I was telling, I think it was Brent, that I was actually looking for a spot before the COVID-19, and then now I'm kind of like freaked out because it's like, what am I going to do if this happens again?
Yeah.
So I think people are even going to be weary now of like, should I open up my own school?
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, man. I just want people to be just maybe more practical about what's going on. It's like, is it time to move on now? Is it time to just like open everything back up again? Or do you think we still need to do these phases? How do you feel about that?
It's, and I hate to say it, but I think it's almost kind of where you're at. If Cartersville, I think people are, they're at a point where it's, you're not around just a ton of people. It's not like you're in Midtown where you're going to a business that sees thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
You're not going to a gas station where 50,000 people have touched that pump in that day or whatever. Maybe, I don't know, it's just throwing out crazy numbers, but so the city I see maybe slowing the opening a little bit. I can understand a little bit more. The outskirts, there's not as many people. I don't know. Again, bro science.
It's bro science.
I don't
That's
know
all it is.
about anything.
We're just having a conversation. We don't want people to get butt hurt. Listen, it concerns me as a small business owner. Like we kind of need to get the economy going because people need to feed their families. So for all the people that are like, well, you need to stay home. It's like, well, if you can't pay your rent, you're not going to have a home to stay in.
Right.
That's my whole point. Like I definitely think that if you have underlying conditions and you are elderly, you should probably quarantine yourself. But people that do jiu-jitsu tend to be healthy people. Why? Because they're doing jiu-jitsu, right? What about mental health issues? What about people that need to do jiu-jitsu because it makes them healthier by doing jiu-jitsu? There's plenty of that. I know the combat veterans, that's why they love jiu-jitsu, because it gets them out of their head, man.
Yeah, and I think it's that camaraderie too.
Yeah, it's just like the military. They make that connection on that alone.
Yeah, and when you lose that for what is it, 2 months, 3 months? It's
depression.
You're kind of at home. You're like, man, I can't wait to get out. Especially if jiu-jitsu is your way of being athletic and in shape. You start to put on some pounds. I'm putting on pounds, and you're kind of like, man, I'm missing all these things. I'm getting fatter. Where's my life going? So all those things start pumping back up in your head, and I laugh because we were thinking about taking a beach trip, and we had to reschedule or whatever, but I can't fit in any of my shorts, and it's summertime. It's like I could get back in shape because
you're getting fat.
I'm getting fat.
You're a big guy, man. I can see how you can easily swell up. But hey, dude, I mean, it's just that's what happens when you're a big guy. You just get big. You get real big boned real quick by eating things. So I don't have that problem. I'm a small guy, but yeah, man. I was just I was out last night, and come to find out there was a riot because of all this stuff going on in our city, you know, in Atlanta. So, you know, I put this question before is like, should law enforcement be doing more jiu-jitsu training? What do you think?
I mean, I think that's best answered by somebody who's in law enforcement, only because those guys that I see come into the gym that do law enforcement, I feel like they have the yes, it is, no, it isn't answer. I would like to say, yeah, I think it would help. I don't see how it couldn't help.
Exactly.
You know, hey, if this person's going crazy and I choke them unconscious, that way I can put, you know, cuffs on them or whatever, and then I can, you know, get a buddy to help put them in the back of the car while they're unconscious or whatever. I don't know, but yeah. I don't see how it could hurt. You know, because if everybody wears clothes for the most part, when you're probably getting arrested, you probably have clothes on. Some people might be running around naked getting arrested. I don't know.
That happens.
Yeah, whether there's no gi.
Yeah.
But you know, if you've got clothes on and stuff, and you know, you've got a way to do something with somebody. You know, the best video I tell people all the time, because they're like, you know, who's running around in jackets with lapels that thick, you know, in the middle of summer? I'm like, well, you know, nobody, unless they're just really crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's a video I watched years ago about this girl that, you know, she pulled guard on some guy, rolled his shirt up his back, and just straight did a choke from guard. I'm like, there you go. You got the pull, and some bully beats up a girl. You pull guard for your girl, and just boom.
I think it's perfect for women for self-defense, just because for the act itself of trying to attack a woman, it's like, okay, she's going to be in the guard. She's going to choke you out in the guard. Yeah. You know, she's almost going to welcome it. He doesn't know what's coming, right? If she knows proper jiu-jitsu. But so the only reason, and even not to get political about this, but like I said, as a businessman, it concerns me because, okay, so now we have the riots along with the COVID-19, and there are businesses that are being destroyed because of what's going on. It's like, I mean, the restaurant owner that just got his windows destroyed and he hasn't been able to work for a month. What fault is that of that person that's just trying to do an honest living? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's all connected, Johnathan.
Yeah, and I don't know the extent of the riots in Atlanta going on right now.
I don't either.
You know, I don't know how many businesses have been.
I heard about it yesterday when I was out. Somebody sent me a text.
And I don't know how I heard about it yesterday or this morning or what, but, you know, I want to say somebody had mentioned something about, you know, maybe around the Phillips Arena or Phipps Plaza or whatever it was, you know, if somebody's going and smashing in windows of a small business or something, and that business is struggling, and now they're like, well, now all my windows are busted. Yeah. Or maybe looters came in and took a bunch of stuff that I need to cook stuff for, you know, takeout orders, or that's my inventory, and now I don't have inventory, so I got to spend more money on inventory. You know, it just, I can't help but to feel like they're just straight defeated. Yeah. It's like you guys, you know, if somebody came in and looted your place and took your printing machine, it's like, okay, there's this line of income that just went completely out the window because somebody was like, you know what, I'm going to join the riots and I'm going to go destroy some stuff. Yeah. And not to say that, you know, what they're doing is, you know, the cause and everything, whatever, but I don't feel like creating more violence and hardship on people who might be trying to do stuff is a smart thing to do.
So you can you can protest. It's okay to protest as an American, but you don't have the right to destroy other people's property. That's what I'm getting at.
Exactly.
Johnathan, it's like, are we like civilized Americans, or do we live in, I don't know. It's just to me, it's just, I just scratch my head, man.
Yeah, I mean, you see a cop car on fire, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Well, okay, great. Now you just caused us to get taxed more because they got to replenish and repay and build a new cop car. Like, damn you guys.
Exactly. So, like I said, man, it's not about being political, but it's just things that concern my community, man. This is my community. I love, you know, I was raised here in Georgia, so it concerns me. But, you know, at the same time, we are the experiment. Georgia is the experiment for COVID-19 because we're the first state to basically start to, you know, as far as like in the South.
Right.
You know, the vice president has been here twice because obviously they're gauging what's going on in our city. So that affects all of us. It affects all businesses. So I just don't want to, like I said, I don't want to destroy our economy for something that we need to prevent, but that doesn't mean that we need to like entirely close our businesses down.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the best thing to come out of all this, though, for the small businesses is maybe opening up new branches of income.
Definitely.
These restaurants and stuff that are dealing with all this and, doing the to-go orders or finding ways to make ends meet, I can only imagine they're going to continue that even when everything's back to normal, because that's just going to help everything. They're going to say, well, hey, maybe we need to add to-go orders because we weren't doing them before, or whatever the case may be. And now I've got a means to have extra income.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been going out for the past 3 weeks just to Atlanta just to see what's going on. And it's basically, if you go to any restaurant in Atlanta and it's like a quarter full.
Oh, yeah, it's super awkward. So my wife and I, we went to Outback, I think last week, and walking in there, the bar was completely closed. Well, they didn't have any bar stools. And then they had, a booth open, a booth not open, and it's just so weird. And you get this paper menu because they don't want people touching or using the menus, and they only have a limited stuff. And it's just like, it's great to get out, but at the same time, it's like, man, this it's just weird.
It's sad.
It's weird, and it's unfortunate. And
dude, what happened? What happened to my country, man? That's what I always say. Like, what is going on here? This is like some sort of like a bad movie or something. Man.
Yeah, and it's not to say that people shouldn't take it seriously, because what is it? The Washington Post, whatever it was like, 100,000 people have died. But yeah, dude, that's a lot of deaths.
Okay, so that listen, the media at the same time. So I'm gonna get into. I talked to David West, or I talked to somebody that was actually working in hospitals, and they were saying that basically they built these units here in Atlanta for certain hospitals, and when they went in, they were completely empty, right? And then I have a buddy of mine who's a teacher, and he told me that his brother's a doctor, and he said that they had a death of a 22-year-old that died of COVID. And the news reported that he died of COVID, but they didn't report that he was 450 pounds. So do the news outlets have their own agenda sometimes? What do you think?
I mean, it's...
But I'm going to get you another beer because... But before you get into that, because we're going to get into some bro science, just for fun, because I just want to, honestly, Johnathan, I want to know what you think. It doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be right. I don't have to be right. I could be completely off. I'm only going by my 47 years of living in this world and seeing things for what they are and for what they aren't. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go get us another beer. But before we get into that, I want you to talk about Professor Roberto Traver, because you are an affiliate. You guys are an affiliate, right?
Yeah.
So please talk about Professor Roberto Traver. I'm going to go get some beers. I'll be right back.
All right.
Go ahead, brother. You got 2 minutes.
There's you can't say enough about him. Professor Trav, it's funny actually. We were talking about how great he is in no gi, and here he is. A lot of our team does gi, and it's kind of funny. But it's every time I see him, I'm smiling, but I'm nervous as all get out. I love the training. The presence is just unreal. I think people take for granted the fact that we're in Atlanta and we're able to learn from somebody who's, as knowledgeable and as great as he is, and not taking advantage of that is just silly in my opinion. But going to the location, down to Midtown, and when everybody gets together on those Sundays, those big promotion days, it's almost like Thanksgiving throughout the year. You see friends, you see people you train with, you see people at different competitions, and you're like, oh, hey, man, like, bro. You get the awkwardness, like, oh, what's up, bro? Like, I don't really remember your name, so I'm just gonna like, oh, how you doing? Let's do the hug thing. But it's I would probably do anything I could for him. You know, if he was ever hurting, you know, I would do what I could for him. You know, it's probably my biggest weakness is that, you know, because I love jiu-jitsu so much, I would probably do just about anything for anybody that, you know, is in the jiu-jitsu community and said, hey, I'm struggling with this, that, or the other. You know, tomorrow, guys, open mat at 10 o'clock. My wife would be like, damn it, why'd you say that? But, you know, it's just because I want people to jiu-jitsu. So, you know, going down and being in Professor Travin's, you know, presence, I just want to live up to his expectations and not disappoint. And that's kind of just the gist of it is, you know, he's there. I'm privileged and honored to wear his flag, his patch. And, you know, I can't, other than the fact that, man, that guy can put down some food.
Can he really?
Dude, it's, you know,
you've been with him?
We went to this Brazilian like buffet, and you know, I get this plate, and I'm like, oh man, like I don't want to eat too much in front of Professor, like, you know, I'm pretty sure he always thinks I'm fat, so and I go get this plate of food, and I come back, and he's got a plate of like what I think are beans, I'm not quite sure, and this plate of something else, food, meat. He puts it down, and I'm putting down my plate. I'm like, should I go get his seconds? And he goes and gets seconds. So I'm okay. I come back with another plate, a little bit smaller on the plate. He comes back with kind of the same thing. Yeah. Another 2 plates of food. And I'm like, okay, like, you know, he's probably not going to eat for the rest of the day, something like that. And then he goes back and gets another plate, I think, of just meat. And I'm like, how is he still so thin and fit?
Dude, some people can eat, man.
And he can put down food. And I was like, you know, and it's just, I guess it all depends on the kind of food you put down, because I hate vegetables and I rarely eat fruit. So me, it's meat and cheese.
So you're a meat eater.
Oh, I love meat. I love meat.
But you know, they have like studies that say that it's actually good for you.
Oh, right? Yeah, but I'm pretty sure if you eat a whole, I mean, again, bro science, but if you eat nothing but bacon all day, I'm pretty sure it's
I know you've been watching Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson. He says he eats just nothing but steak all the time. And he says his health has gotten better.
I mean, it might. But, you know, there's tons of different things out there that you can, you know, all the diets these days.
Okay, so listen.
Oh, man, don't get me.
No. So that's what I'm saying. So we're going to get into like some pragmatic thinking. So people do these big corporations or these big things. They do these studies on people's diets. Let's say they study a meat eater. So they may study a guy that eats meat a lot, but they're like, okay, that's the underlying issue is eating too much meat. But this guy's also scarfing down potatoes and French fries and fried foods. So it's not very direct. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's definitely people that are fat asses that are nothing but stuffing their face all day with cheese and steak. But I'm talking about obviously regulated. You're an athletic guy. You're training, but you eat meat. Do you drink water?
Not as much as I should. I mean, I'm lucky if I get 20 ounces of water a day.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I wake up, I have my 2 cups of coffee. I go to work. I might drink a solo cup of water while, you know, the time I'm at work. I'll go to the gym. I don't really take water breaks between rolling. And I'll go home and I'll probably have that 20 ounces of water between home and sleep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, I don't drink as much water as I should. Yeah. I'm starting to try to drink more water while I'm at work. Yeah. But, you know, it's just something I've never been somebody who just drinks a lot of water.
Yeah. See, in the Army, that's kind of like.
Yeah. I went to a military school.
Water and ibuprofen.
It was funny because the lady stuck with me and she was like, you know, it was even when you didn't even want to drink water, they were still like, drink water.
They promoted all that.
I was like, wow, I'm full. Like, my tummy's full. Like, why are you making me drink water? And it's just, keep drinking water.
Yeah. And listen, man, just a thought. I mean, do you feel healthy?
I mean, yeah, like I don't feel like I have issues. You asked me last week, I would have said a completely different answer only because I had some pain in my chest. Come to find out, I think I just pulled an arm or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I feel healthy. Am I a little, you know, overweight? Yeah. You know, do I need to exercise? Yeah, I probably need to exercise on a regular basis.
Yeah, but how much do you think you want to lose? Like, what do you want to be? Where would you like to be right now in your weight?
You know, I would love to get back to the 180s. I started jiu-jitsu and I was in the low 80s. I actually competed at 181. And then I went up to 194.
Yeah, but how many times you're training a lot though, man?
Well, it's a lot of people think that, because you're at the gym and you're teaching and you're instructing that you're training at a time. Well, yeah, that might be the case, but at the same time, it's not necessarily the case. Mm-hmm. If there's, a slow day and there's 10 people in class, well, then yeah, I might get a lot of training in because there's only 10 people. So I'm not worried about this group kicking this group in the face because we have plenty of space.
Yeah.
But, if you got a big class, 20, 30 people in there, you're kind of limited on your space. So you can't really train because you got to walk around and make sure that guy doesn't kick that guy in the face because they don't know. They're not.
No, you're right. You're right. That makes sense. You're right.
So
you're totally right about that. I totally forgot about that because listen, I'm just a blue belt, but we do I coach like the very beginners at my school. And you're right, man. When it's a bunch of white belts, or whatever, you just got to keep an eye to make sure they don't get hurt. And yes, I agree with you. Yeah. So you're showing up for the class, but are you necessarily rolling? Maybe not.
Right.
So I get
you're not drilling. I mean, you're showing technique, but you're showing the technique 5, 6, maybe 7 times at most.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably show something 3 or 4 times, ask if anybody else needs to see it, and maybe just one. So you're showing something, we'll say 6 times. Mm-hmm. You may be doing 3, 4 moves. Mm-hmm. So you're doing 24 movements. Mm-hmm. Okay. And sometimes that's my training for the day. Mm-hmm. And it's because we had a packed house and I couldn't jump in and roll because I had to make sure these squirrely white belts aren't kicking these other guys in the face or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the tough thing about teaching, but also trying to be able to train is you got to find that other time to train. And, if you've got a full-time job and you're teaching, it's very challenging. Yeah. So there's people that, that can teach, and the business owners that have jiu-jitsu and stuff, I almost envy them because I'm like, I would love to be just a jiu-jitsu owner and just train at noon, 6 a.m. and at 6 o'clock in the afternoon and not teach anybody anything and just be selfish and train. But I love spreading what I know.
Yeah, of course, man.
So,
of course. Hell, like I said, man, that's the reason why I wanted to have you on, because I'm just seeing a lot of stuff, man, especially on YouTube. And these guys are putting out these opinions that they have about martial arts. If it was up to me, man, everybody should be doing jiu-jitsu. I have 2 nephews and they play soccer and they play basketball. And I always tell them that you need to learn jiu-jitsu. I don't care what you do in life. Do whatever you want. But it's almost, I almost think it's a foundation, especially for young men. Because if you can learn jiu-jitsu when you're really young, dude, you're not going to get bullied, man. It's just not going to happen because most kids don't know jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you're going to be sure of yourself. And there's nothing like it. There's nothing. I see it all the time when I go out, because I go out a lot. I go out at least twice a week for business or just to go out. But I see guys getting into fights that don't know what they're doing. And I really believe that it's just they're just insecure, Johnathan.
And they could be. I mean, I think insecurity might be a case, but a lot of times, I think it's also that liquid courage. People go out and they drink a little bit too much to have that last beer, that 4th or 5th beer maybe they shouldn't have had, and and they're like, oh, I'm gonna punch that guy in the face because he looked at my girl wrong, and vice versa. Women might do the same thing. Oh, that girl gave me a mean look and she spilled her whatever on me. I'm gonna go pour it. It's just.
But if they had jiu-jitsu to where they're training all the time, they would be drunk and they'd be like, yeah, I'm just drunk. Yeah. I don't need to be fighting anybody. Like I said, you look like, if I were to see you anywhere, I mean, I'm a dude, I'd be like, and that's what I say about Elijah. It's I'm sure people look at your ears and just right off the top, people weren't stupid, Johnathan. They're like, yeah, this guy's done something. This guy's done something to where I may not want to get into an altercation, right?
And I hope that saves me for the rest of my life.
I think it does.
Because, if somebody if they want to look at my ears and they're like, I'm going to challenge that guy, I'm like,
dude, I'm a regular, but that's what I'm saying. So I'm not that special. I'm just a regular guy. I'm a regular guy. If I saw you at a club, I would be like, yeah, I don't want to mess with that guy. It's the same thing with Rodney, right? If I were to look at Rodney, he's a big guy. You know Rodney well.
Yeah.
I would size him up automatically. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin or anything. He's just an intimidating looking dude. But if you meet him, he's like the nicest guy.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's, for most jiu-jitsu guys, it's amazing how just nonchalant and relaxed a lot of us are.
Yes.
You know, we're so, what's up, man?
Yeah, so to me, you're living by that's the real warrior code, Johnathan. That is the real, is the Bushido. A warrior should only be a warrior when he has to. If you are bullying people, then you can no longer call yourself a warrior.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're basically picking on the weak. Why would you want to pick on the weak? Right?
And I hope nobody uses that as a means to do that. Mm-hmm. You know, I hope nobody comes into a gym, learns jiu-jitsu, and says, now I can take this and go pick on this guy.
I think that for the most part, because of what jiu-jitsu entails, I think for the most part, people build that humility. It's like, listen, I see it in my son. My son wasn't in the army. He wasn't in the military, but he got his ass kicked for a long time before he became the man that he is today. And he even told me himself, he said, I was beating these guys and then I went to driving school and I was getting submitted. And he told me that I really thought about quitting jiu-jitsu, right? He really thought about it, right? But that's the defining moment to where, especially in this sport, that's what makes jiu-jitsu so different, man, because it's a sport, but you can literally kill each other and you don't.
Yeah. And it's a lot of it is pushing past that hurdle. Like you just said, it's everybody starts out, really the hurdle is getting over that fear of, whether you start out strong or you start out slow. It's, once I get to the point where I'm not worried about getting choked out, I'm okay with losing. Nobody necessarily likes to lose, but if you're okay with it, then then you can move on and you can make yourself better. Mm-hmm. And like me, hey, I got my black belt. I competed, and to this day, I've yet to win an actual black belt match. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to quit trying.
Of course,
you got to start somewhere, and you keep going, and you keep going, and I'm going to keep giving it what I got, and it'll come around. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to be that guy that just gives everybody fits.
Of course. You got to, but that's what I'm saying, man. You got to build that callus, man. You need it. It has to, it's really, at the end of the day, it's really about your ego. And if your ego can take it, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We need that humble pie, because I would say, listen, man, you've been doing this for so long. For most guys, most regular guys, you could probably beat most of them, right? But then you get into this box of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community with the guys that are just like the elite level, and it kind of like, oh man, it's like you get put in your place, right? Yeah. And it's good to be put in your place.
Oh, it is.
Right?
It is. I think it's almost funny, every time I roll with, like Chris Ruiz. Mm-hmm. He's not a small guy. Sorry, Chris. But he's not a huge guy.
No, he's a small guy, but he's dangerous, right?
Right. But what I mean, he's not like 125, 135, even 145. He's probably, I would imagine, with COVID and everything, maybe 160, maybe as high as maybe 170. I don't know. But I love rolling with him because he'll sometimes I'm just like, what just happened there?
Yeah.
Why did he just? How did it? Or Elijah even. I'm like, where? How is that leg over my back right now?
Yeah.
Like, damn you! But that's the fun of it. He might take my back or sweep me, or somebody else might sweep me or take my back. I'm like, you know what? It happened. I can laugh at it and be like, you know what? He's not gonna do it for the rest of the day.
Listen, man, I was training some police officers, military in Guatemala. And we were just doing like basic like police stuff, like apprehending, putting people down. And for the most part, everything was working fine. I was using very basic jiu-jitsu. Nothing was no problem. And I started tussling with this 25-year-old, and he was big, man. He was a big Guatemalan. And he was beating my ass, man. Like he was like throwing me all over the place. And I was able to eventually get him into an armbar to where I submitted him. And everybody, like, they didn't applaud, but they were shocked. And I was literally getting my ass kicked for like, I think it was like 5 to 7 minute tussle. And the only reason that I was able to subdue him was because of jiu-jitsu. And it's so prolific, man. I was losing, but it was just that one move. It was just that one move that it changed everything. And I think that is what's so beautiful about the sport, man. It's incredible.
It's great when you're getting beat, you're getting destroyed, and out of nowhere, it's like, oh, I just tapped. You know, or vice versa. Well, in that case, it would be bad. But if you're losing constantly and then all of a sudden you pull out something miraculous win at the end, it's just like, that just happened.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's incredible, man.
Yeah, and then those are the exciting, you know, matches. You know, this guy's losing out of nowhere. It's, you know, boom, he just hit this crazy move and he won. Or, you know, he got out of that sticky spot and he came back and won. You know, it's just amazing because you can never really let your guard down. Well, when you're going against a jiu-jitsu guy, because you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. What's going to be their favorite spot. You know? Yeah, you know, I've got double unders. I'm going to smash and go to the side and pass. But who's to say that guy doesn't have something set up, you know? Going back to Omar, I was there passing one day and he had hands on both sides of my neck. You know, I wasn't getting choked or anything. And I go and pass and he sets up this choke where he just kind of lays on his stomach and it's like, dude, he's giving up his back. Great. And then I wake up and he's laughing at me. And it's like, oh, I just choked your conscious because you didn't even think about my arms being right there. And I'm just laughing to myself like, yeah, never going to forget that one.
It's incredible, man. Even to this day, I just think about it, how just truly amazing it is, man. Listen, man, I just see other people all the time. I always go back to Elijah because obviously, I mean, I see him all the time, you know, and I see him train, I see all the work that he puts in. But man, I just saw a video that he did with a black belt in Alabama, and this guy outweighed him by a bunch, man. And you could tell that Elijah was just complete, like the guy was at least 30 to 40 pounds bigger. So it's, you know what, I think Master Helio Gracie said that it's never you, it's always jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu is perfect. It's perfect, man. It's just when you feel like you're giving up, you go back to the technique, and it will save your life, man. Yeah. It will save your life. So we've done about an hour and 7 minutes. I want you to say, because like I said, we're trying to promote this beautiful sport of ours. Professor, what would you say? Why should people start doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Put me on the spot. I mean, I think it's just a way of life. If you want to change and you want camaraderie, you know, maybe you're struggling fitting in somewhere, maybe you need something to take up some time, or, you know, you're feeling down and out, or you had something bad happen in just your life in general. It's never too late to start. And, you know, you constantly hear people talking about how jiu-jitsu saved their life and changed their life. And that's the best part about it is, you know, everybody's got a story, some a little more dramatic. But I've never heard anybody say, you know what, jiu-jitsu really didn't do anything for me. I was the same before as when I, you know, am now. And it's just not the case. You know, jiu-jitsu it changes people. So if you want to change, if you want to have just a new family. Like I said earlier, I think you were out, you know, if you want to have that Thanksgiving family constantly, that's jiu-jitsu.
So what I was telling Johnathan is the reason why I started this podcast is because I want young men that, let's say, don't have a father, or let's say anybody that needs some sort of direction in their life. And let's say you don't want to join the military, because for me, honestly, it'd be like either join the military or do jiu-jitsu. I mean, it's either one or the other. So if you don't want to join the military, join your jiu-jitsu club to get a little bit of humble pie and to teach you those lessons that you need in life. And you're going to find, I mean, you're going to find mentors in the jiu-jitsu community, right?
Oh, definitely.
Right.
And you're going to make bonds that they're damn near unbreakable. I mean, like I was saying, my best man, I lived with them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I rode with them to training. I worked at the gym. I don't think my professional career outside of jiu-jitsu, my personal life would be where it is today if not for jiu-jitsu. I found that gym. I started jiu-jitsu. I met the owners. The owners owned a company. I went and worked for that company, and I switched and moved to another company. And I don't think I would be where I am today professionally if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu. So it's amazing what it can do for everybody, and it's amazing who you meet, the connections you make, and it's just, like I said, it's unbreakable.
So Professor, where can they find you? Where are you at? Tell everybody where you are.
So I'm in Cartersville, which is north of 75, northwest of Atlanta, right off of a horrible street. I think it's Main Street or something.
I can't name you one.
I just know where I'm at. I don't know names and stuff.
I'm a mouth breather. You're on social media though. You are on social media.
Yep, I'm on social media. Johnathan Robinson, BJJ. I'm at Team Octopus Cartersville. So you can look them up. You'll find the location. I'm not on Twitter or anything like that. I'm on, Instagram, Johnathan Robinson, BJJ. I mean, if anybody ever has questions and stuff, I'm always open and, trying to make myself available as much as I can. It's just, jiu-jitsu is fun.
Jiu-jitsu is fun. So there it is, guys, from the man himself, Mr. Johnathan Robinson. And like I said, these are the type of men that are in this beautiful community that we call Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. These are the guys that you need to be training with. All you young guys don't have a father figure. These are the kind of men that you're going to find, that you're going to need in your life. Okay? So that's why I'm doing this podcast for you guys and for anybody, for all you young ladies, that don't want to be bullied. Learn jiu-jitsu. For all you little kids, learn jiu-jitsu. We all need humility in our life, and jiu-jitsu definitely brings out that humility. But hey, man, thank you so much for coming out.
And I'll throw this out there. All those people that are wanting to start jiu-jitsu, don't judge a book by its cover. Try it, and don't just try one class and say you hate it. You got to try, 5, 6, 7 classes, because that one class you might have thought you hated because we were doing a choke or something like that, or something was awkward. The next day could be different. So you got to give it, just like everything. Everything you do, you don't just love something immediately.
Yeah.
You feel it out a little bit. You don't go on just one date with a chick and they're like, oh yeah, no, she's the one. You gotta feel it out a little bit, and then you get it.
So jiu-jitsu, it's a process. It's not a product. It's a process. Go do the process, man. Do the process. That's what I tell everybody. I don't know how else to say it, but there it is, guys. Check out Johnathan Robinson. And you're in Atlanta too, right?
I trained out Midtown with Professor Travin. Try to go down there as much as I could.
Yeah, he's a beast. I've seen this guy train. He's a complete animal. I've seen him and Elijah go at it.
Lovely teddy bear.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's lying to you. He's an animal. But all right, guys, this is for the old breed. We're out. And that was excellent.
Yeah, man.
That was really good, man. That was really good. You should want to end. Oh, yeah, man. That was good.